I would really love to get opened for by Pitbull.
Can you imagine, bro? That crowd would be so confused. It's like all like the Miami dads and shit coming out to support Pitbull. And like half the it's like 30.
There's like maybe one shirt every like 10 square meters.
First off, we're here in Philadelphia the day after the Overcast and Friends show here at the TLA. And first off, I'm just wondering, what were your thoughts on that whole experience? Because that was a fucking wild ride.
I thought it was like really crazy, honestly. Like being able to see like these people that I've like kind of looked up to in person.
Yeah, like who did you end up meeting up with in total? Like okay, that's a loaded question because I'm sure you've met up with like dozens of people at this point.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. Was there any like crazy like oddball people that like you bumped into? Because I can name like 5 off the top of my head. Like what was first somebody that you didn't expect to be here?
Zach Greer.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't expect to meet Zach Greer.
You didn't expect to meet Zach Greer? Was he like? I'm assuming he was fun to be around.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool person.
Zach Greer showed up to our B&B, and I remember like I was like really tired, so I was super duper out of it. And then like Niz pulled up, and I was like, "Oh, hey Niz, how's it going?" And like I was dapping people up, and then I'm like, "Oh, Jay from Overcast, okay, Zach Greer's okay." And then they just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and then I it didn't register to me until they left that I was like, Zach Greer just came over. And then also last night I invited like the Hive Mind guys over, and then randomly like I was expecting like Grant and Alex, Riley and Graydon, but then Quadeca just showed up.
Yeah, Quadeca also showed up at Ryan's place.
When he came over, I think like I mentioned webcage to him because like Grant asked me, he was like, "Hey, like, do you have any artists that you're like really like looking forward to?" And I'm like, honestly, the entire webcage roster right now is super duper exciting, especially because they just put up peer to peer, and like I was talking to them about webcage, and then I'm like, for example, this song Freak Out has 15 production credits on it. Like they're like insane. They like work together a ton. And Grant found that super interesting, and so did Quadeca. So
yeah, he actually told me he got put onto webcage by you.
Oh really? Okay, that's awesome. Fuck yeah, dude. Okay.
That whole conversation just like read out like a fucking Mad Lib. It was insane.
It's like Quadeca
found webcage through Backlight Noah.
Yeah, Jesus. I'm wondering, have there been any like pet peeves that you've had tested, like meeting new people, whether it be just like random like people at like the venue or like anything like that? Have you had anything like that come up or no?
I had one person refer to me just as Lane, like that I didn't know. That bothers me. Like that's one thing that really bothers me is people like I don't know how to say this without sounding like I think I'm a bigger artist than I am, because I don't. But like one thing that bothers me is the concept of parasocial relationships.
Right.
Like I'm down to like talk for a minute. But just because you met me at a show, like we're not like close friends, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting sort of thing to like, because I remember like I was saying like for example like the Hive Mind guys, they were getting hounded. Like I mean like all respect to them, they handled it super duper well. But I can imagine it might be a little frustrating to be like, "Hey, what's up, Dignan?" for like the 40th time in a day.
Yeah, it's
like I get that it's like a joke, an ongoing joke in the channel, but like also it's like you don't know them. So to randomly come up to them and like hound them for like whatever the case may be, it can get a little bit frustrating as time goes on.
Honestly, it really just depends on my mood. Like if I'm in a good mood, and like at the Overcast show, I was in a very good mood.
Yeah,
like I'm fine with it. But like if I'm like having a pissy day, then no. If it's somebody that I get like a bad vibe off of, then no.
I think that just the advice there is just don't be weird. Like I saw hella people like going up to like different artists and calling them by like their actual name. Like people in the crowd were first naming Breakins. Like that's just odd. Like unless you're like a friend of like Breakins or something like that. If that feels weird, it can be like pretty fucking overwhelming to get introduced to so many people like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. So I'm wondering, has there ever been a point in these past few days where you felt like your social battery gets sort of drained, and if so, like how do you rectify that?
Honestly, no.
Really? Okay.
Like my social battery just does not deplete. I don't get it.
Okay, I mean that's a good thing. Do you feel like that's the case the same online and in person? Or?
I would say it's definitely more the case in person than online. Like I can't hop into like 12 Discord calls back to back, but like I can handle meeting like 25 people in a night.
With this being like a massive meetup for the community, and I'm sure like you and I have been taking photos with each like fucking constantly. We took photos earlier. We've probably been taking photos like I've taken probably more photos. My camera roll is more packed for like the past week than it has been like the previous like 6 months combined.
Oh yeah.
So I'm wondering like you kept your face like largely a secret for the most part up until maybe about the past couple months. So I'm wondering what informed your decision to do that.
What informed my decision to like just kind of remain just like sort of like anonymous. I like my privacy. And also that goes back to the parasocial relationship thing from a second ago. And then what made me decide to change that was I was just like in a bunch of Instagram lives. I figured, fuck it, people know what I look like now. It's whatever. Like if I'm gonna be in a fucking CM10 Instagram live, then like
Ryan
Lehan, yeah. Like that's
is it Lehan or Lehan?
it's Lehan.
What the fuck? I've heard the exact opposite from like 6 people at this point. I've pronounced it Lehan this whole time, but then somebody's like, no, it's Lehan, and I'm like, okay.
No, it's Lehan.
Lehan. Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad I got that right.
I'm definitely getting more comfortable with it as I continue further like with music and stuff. It's also kind of deal just like I don't really like the way I look in most pictures.
Valid. Yeah, I've like, bro, did you see that one picture that Gabby posted to me? Fuck that photo so much, bro. I'll put it on screen right now. Fuck that photo so much. Bro, literally, like it seems like every time a photo is taken of me, like every time I take a picture of my friends, they're all like doing like crazy, like cool poses and shit like that. Then every time that I'm in one of them, I look stupid as hell.
Yeah, that's honestly how it was for me for like a while, and then I just stopped caring, honestly.
With all the performances being so bombastic now, and like shows such as this becoming more of a possibility as the quarantine opens up, I'm wondering, has like the prospect of like performing live someday ever like entered your mind, and if so, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to perform live, like soon.
Really? Like, what do you like? Are you performing? Like, are you thinking of doing like your own music, or like a combination of like the sort of like set stuff that you've done for like Form and like Goop House and stuff like that, or what?
I might throw a couple covers in there. Like, I want to start doing live editions of songs. Like, I want to start changing it up a bit.
Like, it's interesting that you mentioned that you want to switch things up for a live performance environment, because I feel like a lot of the stuff off of Slow Down could make for a really, really cinematic experience in like a live performance environment. And I understand with Slow Down, you made like a pretty deliberate decision to not give away too much of the project and only show very specific portions to very specific people before it came out.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what informed your decision to go with that direction.
I kind of wanted to be like sort of like kind of a surprise for as many people as possible, but I kind of wanted to like tease it a little bit to like some of my friends. Like just like, hey, listen to this shit.
Yeah, no, like it's interesting that you take that direction, because like Saoirse, like she mentioned that she's a very big sharer, and that she like she wants to like show as many, to try and get input as many people as possible. I'm wondering, was there any sort of like inspiration or like any sort of like feeling of like, I don't want this to be influenced by others all that much, or like I want this to be like a holistic like thing from just me? Or
when you bring up like Cat being a big sharer, I'm like naturally a big sharer. That was fucking difficult for me to not share the whole thing.
Yeah, like trying to be all mysterious and shit when you don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, like if y'all see my tweets, you understand I cannot fucking stop tweeting.
Well, I mean, like, okay, well, yeah,
like
can,
that like it's the same sort of thing with music. Like I just do not shut the fuck up ever, and I need to. Yeah, because I be saying the most foul shit on
like that. Like what the fuck was that one tweet of yours that like blew up like a while back?
To the Joker, they are just impractical.
Yeah, to the Joker, fuck you for that. To the Joker, they are fuck you for that, bro. On Slow Down, I understand every single song on it is samples a previous song from your discography. So could you take us through which songs you sampled and when and why?
Okay, Exordium samples Growing Pains. A lot of them sample Growing Pains. Slow Down samples Growing Pains also, and it also samples WMB.
Okay.
Like the piano section is like layered under like the ending part.
Yeah, because like it's interesting that you mentioned that like it's sampled, because I like heard nothing. Like I heard like not like whatever you did, you layered them like excellent.
Yeah, it's because I lossied the shit out of it.
Okay.
Weight of a Word was Means to an End. Silhouettes actually is Exordium.
What?
Yeah.
Slow Down is it? Wait, hold on. Run that back. What?
Silhouettes is Exordium.
How? Like what?
It's the same first 32 bars.
Seriously?
Yep. I just pitched it up 2 notes.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know how the fuck. Okay, maybe I'm stupid or something, because I did not hear that at any point. That's insane. Wow. And then Slow Down like really felt like a culmination of like a lot of different things. Like it sort of felt like you've been trying to make something like Slow Down for some time, and you finally achieved that for once. So now that you have a concrete project out, like how do you look back both on it and your work that came before it?
It's very reassuring in a sense, because like it feels like I can look back on it and say like, hey, I accomplished what I set out to do. It's time for me to start doing some other shit. Right.
Yeah. Okay. And then like your previous work before that, does it seem dated by comparison or anything, or no?
Very dated. Very dated. I don't want to say I hate it, because there's still something special to me about it. But I really do think I could have done infinitely better with every song prior to like Means to an End.
Okay. Is it just from like? Is it just because I'm assuming, is it because of like technical proficiency, or is it because just like you have a vision now, a more concrete vision now that you have Slow Down out?
It's really both, honestly. Like I'm not gonna front. I fucking hate the mixing on Growing Pains.
Really?
Yeah, I hate the way my vocals are mixed on that song.
I feel like a lot of artists have gotten used to and like comfortable with, just because of quarantine, recording everything, as in like recording, mastering, producing everything, doing everything inside of their bedrooms. So now that the quarantine is opening back up, we're having more and more people actually working, not necessarily like a studio environment, but just working with others in sort of that like collaborative environment. So I'm wondering, like, do you have any sort of like reservations about recording vocals or producing in front of others? Do you have any anxiety in that realm? Or?
As far as in front of others, no. I don't mind. I don't mind recording vocals in front of other people or producing for other people. Or producing in front of other people. I also don't mind producing for other people. I do have a little bit of reservation about recording verses. Like I will never do a paid feature. Like,
really?
Yeah, I don't. I feel like my music has its own direction, and I feel like I'm really the only one that can fully solidify what I want to do with it. You know?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because like when you look at your feature list, it is like it's like an Austin song, and then
it's like very close friends of mine that like get it. Right. Like Austin gets it, and Kat gets it.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It makes sense, because it feels like I mean,
and Lunamatic gets it.
Right, of course, yeah. Lunamatic always understands the assignment. But yeah, like it's interesting you mentioned that, because it feels like, not to say that like, you know, other artists like are like bad at it by any means. Like, not to say that it's like a chore to do like a paid feature for somebody else.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but it always does generally seem like I'm here to make money. I'm not here to like make anything profound. If I do end up making something profound, then like, okay, that's an advantage. But it does generally feel like features are sort of like a means to an end. Full circle moment.
I got the reference. Let's go. I fucking hate this kid.
Let's say like Silento comes to you tomorrow with like $10,000. Would you do one for them?
No.
No?
No.
You wouldn't? Okay, well, who would you do a feature for?
Honestly, really only like somebody that would like get what I want to do.
Okay, what about Pitbull? Like, be honest. Like, be honest with yourself. If Pitbull was like, I'll give you $1 million tomorrow.
I would do production for Pitbull.
Holy shit. Can you imagine like fucking Core Pitbull?
Oh, Daria. I need to make Pitbull Core for sets.
An almond break over fucking Mr. Worldwide. Yeah, like, oh my god, that'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, just fucking like the most ear-piercing snare you've ever heard in your life. DJ Khaled.
We the best music. Wow. On the topic of webcage, you guys' your debut album Peer to Peer just dropped a couple days ago, and I'm wondering, like, personally, like, I thought it was fantastic. I really, really, really fucking enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And but something that like struck out to me is that the project is like how varied its like subject matter is. So I'm wondering, when it came time to create like all the tracks that you worked on, what came first? Was it like sort of like the beat came first, or was it vocals, was an idea?
The production came first, at least on the songs that I started.
Okay.
I can't really speak for everybody else, but it was definitely, it's usually the instrumentals that come first. Like the instrumental from Actor, BBBBFC, he started that.
Okay.
And I've met multiple people that think he did the outro. I did the outro.
Oh, okay. So let's set the record straight right now. You did the outro.
Yeah, let's set that.
Does the beat coming first, is that simply just because it's easier for you guys to form like ideas for like lyrics and whatnot once you have like a instrumental palette available for you, or?
Well, this is kind of like delving into like the reason I started making music. I grew up with like a severe stutter. So I couldn't really like put what I wanted to say into words, so I decided to put it into music. And that kind of delved into me making more instrumental music. Like I started out making dubstep.
Right, okay.
And well, not necessarily that, but just like, you know, just music for racists.
Right. Another thing that struck me specifically as I looked at like the production side of things, like I remember I looked in like the Spotify credits section, and I had to scroll down, which I've never done before, because there's 15 production credits on Freakout.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, there isn't like a single track on the entire album that has just one producer for it. It's always like a collaborative effort. So I'm wondering, as someone with production that's featured so heavily on the project, what do you think are some advantages and disadvantages of having that many cooks in the kitchen?
One of the biggest advantages is that like a lot of people's different ideas can come together in a really like truly beautiful way, which is what I love as much as I do about webcage. The biggest disadvantage that I can think of is it's kind of hard to like get everybody involved, you know? it's kind of like difficult to get like everybody on when there's so many people. Mm-hmm. Like there's a few people that didn't like make any appearances on the tape that I wish had, but like, you know, it's fine. It's out now. It's all good.
Yeah, no, I guess that makes sense. Like, one of the things that struck me about webcage is it seems oddly enough that like your guys' like a lot of other collectives like weakness is that you guys have a ton of moving parts. Like, moving parts are usually what like kills collectives like immediately, because it takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of talent, it takes a lot of organization, it takes a lot of communication to make something like that work. But you guys seem to flourish because of how many moving parts you guys have. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't expect like a 30-person collective to have an entire album this early into their lifespan.
Yeah, I don't even think we expected to have an album this early on. Like, we just had like a folder of a bunch of like songs, and we just figured like, hey, we should make a tape out of these. Yeah, and then there's a timeline very close to this one where that tape is 16 songs long.
Really?
Yeah, like that original folder was like 16, maybe 17 songs. And then we like cut a few down because there was some that we just didn't want to finish. There was some that like we didn't think fit the direction. Our original vision was, I'll just call it what it is. It was ciphers.
Okay.
I feel like webcage feels a lot more like a band now.
Right, absolutely.
Than a collective. It's definitely not a collective anymore.
Right, yeah, I would say so. Like, especially because, like, especially with how guitar heavy your guys' instrumentation has leaned recently, like, I think genuinely you're like, if webcage were to do like a group performance, it could genuinely be a live band at this point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, which is insane to say.
And actually, a good portion of the webcage members, not necessarily the majority, but like a good... New York City is like the most common city for webcage members to live in, or like New York adjacent. Like, that's just me saying like it'd be easy for us to like meet up and practice for it.
Right, yeah, and I'm wondering, like, obviously getting that many people together, it would be amazing to see. However, it's a lot easier said than done, obviously, trying to get that many people organized to one event. Plus it'd be expensive and all that, but fuck all that. If money were no object, what would you want webcage's first performance to be? Like, in like no bars, like anything.
I honestly, I haven't even really thought about it. Really? I haven't like thought that through. I'm just like thinking of it as like a possibility that it could happen.
I mean, with you guys, is like anything is possible. Imagine like Dr. Fauci coming out and opening for you guys, and like fucking, it's like, hey, here's a set from Tisa Korean, and everybody's just like, all right, let's run it. Like, if money were no object, that's what I would personally want it to be. But
I would really love to get opened for by Pitbull.
Oh my god. Opened for by Pitbull.
Yeah.
That would be such a fucking brag. Just like, yeah, Pitbull opened for my show. Like, my undercard was Pitbull. Can you imagine, bro? That crowd would be so confused. It's like all like the Miami dads and shit coming out to support Pitbull. And like half the it's like 30...
There's like maybe one shirt every like 10 square meters.
Exactly. As more of like generalizations continue, how do you feel about people calling both your music and webcage's music hyperpop or digicore?
Honestly, I've just kind of accepted that hyperpop is more of an umbrella term. Mm-hmm. I think webcage's old music could be classified as digicore.
Right.
Or hyperpop per se. I think our new music is like taking like a more of like an indie direction.
Right, alt or like indie direction.
Yeah, like
sure.
Alternative stuff. Mm-hmm. So like honestly, as far as I'm concerned, it's really up to personal interpretation. Like, yeah, like even with my music, you can call it whatever you want. Like Rear View, you can call that hyperpop. I won't mind.
And especially because like the term hyperpop was created to not essentially like give like give like a name for like a genre, but more so give a name to like a community. I think, like for example, like you see stuff like Fantasize getting put on like the hyperpop playlist on Spotify. That's not a hyperpop song, but Eric is what's traditionally considered like a member of the hyperpop community, so it makes sense for him to be included. So I get both sides of it, where like people are upset with having their music be generalized underneath the term, but I'm more so of the opinion that like it's a community, less so a sound, if that makes sense.
Yeah, hyperpop is definitely more of a scene than a genre.
Yeah, and then in the past couple months, you've been getting like a pretty crazy amount of attention from like a whole variety of avenues, whether it be like Anthony Fantano not shitting on Rear View on his stream, which is surprising, or like for example Eric like showing you love and like streams and whatnot. So I'm wondering like. Now that you have some more eyes on you, like, how does it feel? Like, do you feel like you have additional pressure to sort of perform or anything like that, or no?
Honestly, no.
No?
No. I appreciate it. I appreciate the living hell out of it. Yeah. I love the fact that I've been able to have the platform that I have, and I think that's an amazing thing. But I don't really feel like any pressure. I think I think the kind of fan base that I want to cultivate is the people that would get it. Like, the people that would really just, like, understand that I'm going to perform when I want to perform, you know?
Right. I guess that, yeah, I mean, it makes sense going back to, like, never doing a paid feature. It's like you never have to worry about another person sort of misinterpreting what you're going for because you have control over, like, your direction.
Yeah.
No matter how many artists you discover in the scene, it seems like every time you turn your back, there's another fucking dozen popping up. So I'm wondering if you could put our listeners onto a handful of artists, what would they be?
Okay. I've actually given a lot of thought to this.
Really? Okay.
Aaron Kushner, 2 Oscar, BH, Saoirse Dream, Machina. Yeah, the entire webcage roster.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Kushner, Machina, Great Milk.
Great Milk, absolutely. Yes, holy shit, yes.
CL.
CL, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, CL done a rebrand recently, so you definitely check out her music, yeah.
Yeah, CL, Travels,
Mm-hmm.
Drake.
Thanks for putting our viewers on to Drake. You do realize that, like, in every single one of these, like, it doesn't matter which artist they mention in, like, this section, I always link them in the description, so I'm just gonna have to put fucking Drake in the description of this video. For all those who don't know Drake, I'll put his Spotify in the description, yeah.
There's this one Austrian folk artist that I really like called Doppelfinger. Okay. Definitely listen to him if you're into that kind of music.
Yeah, shit, no, I feel like it's interesting how, generally speaking, like, you would think, like, a lot of artists, and not to say that there isn't, but you'd think, like, a lot of artists from this scene would maybe pull from artists within the scene for inspiration. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think I can see a pretty clear, like, inspiration from other genres, from, like, outside shit that I wouldn't even expect, like folk, in your music. So that's super interesting.
Yeah, I've definitely taken a lot of inspiration from people, like people both in this scene and out. Like, I take as much inspiration from people like Radiohead as I take from Delezik.
Wow, that's one hell of a combination. Yeah, Jesus. It's like the write your music canon right there. Like, love both of them. But yeah, on a similar note, even beyond webcage, you've collaborated with a good handful of people so far. But I'm wondering, I'm sure there's plenty more that you want to work with. So if you had to pick a handful of people that you think would get it, who would you pick?
Okay, so him,
Swayze.
Yeah,
you want to work with Swayze? Okay,
I want to work with you at some point.
I want to work with you at some point.
Let's go. Nate is another person.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also really want to work with CL.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. Especially because of the recent shift in direction that she's had with her music. She beat the Daria Core allegations.
Yeah, I definitely feel like she's starting to get it more, you know? I keep saying get it. I'm not going to say what it is.
Finally, you've come a really long way in 2021 alone, and I'm sure, like, I'm super excited, like, not only for what you have in store, but also webcage as well. So I'm wondering, is there anything else you want to accomplish before the year is through?
I want to start getting on my drill shit.
Ooh, really? Okay,
yeah,
shit.
I've been really fucking with the drill, like, drum pattern lately. The Great Milk and Ryan Lehan song is a perfect example of the kind of drill that I'm talking about. I want to start getting on that shit. Really? Okay. Yeah, I want to just, like, cover as many genres as possible. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to solidify and provide a refreshing sound.
Right, yeah, so it's like once you've, like, touched on slow down, you think you want to move on. Like, now that you've touched on the slow down, you want to move on to something else.
Mm-hmm. I definitely want it to be, like, a clean transition. Like, I want to, like, I'm thinking I might start, like, releasing another EP. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, like, a transition from that into my next thing. Okay. Because there's, like, honestly, there's, like, a million different directions that I want to touch on.
Mm-hmm. Is that just from, like, wanting to find, like, a genre that could potentially interest you more than the stuff you're doing right now, or?
It's honestly more of a matter of just whatever I'm feeling like, you know?
Bro, look at these two fucking idiots right here. I wish I could turn the camera around. Hold on.
You know what? No, turn the camera around.
No. I'm not turning the camera around. However, I'm getting a video of this with my phone just so y'all can see, like, what I'm talking about. Look at these two idiots right here. Look at them. Fuck you, bitch. I got it. Okay. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Do you have anything else to say to the people? All right, I think that's going to do it. This has been Wishlane. I think we're going to head out to either get dinner after this or whatnot, but y'all see you later.